Hey guys, welcome to the HVAC Diaries. Today is Friday, December 15th, and this is my weekly HVAC vlog brought to you by New Calgon. Our days are getting a little bit quieter as we approach Christmas time, which is typical for this time of year for us. We usually start slowing down quite a lot a couple weeks before Christmas. Although usually we're trying to find things to do to fill our time and honestly to get paid. But this year is a little bit different because my dad's recent health scare. We're actually kind of embracing the quiet time, which is different. So this year should be nice and like relaxing, easygoing. Then we'll pick things up fully for the new year. But I do have some stories for you this week, so let's go. So Dad did come to work with us this week. Basically just for 2 days. He came with us on Monday and he came with us today on Friday to look at 2 air dryers. He came with us on Monday because we went back to that metal foundry that I spoke about in last week's vlog, where I had Trevor explaining a little bit about what we found and what we were planning on doing. So we were going there with a full expectation of replacing the expansion valve, which is kind of what we diagnosed last week. And my dad's been looking after this air dryer for, I don't know, like the last 20 years. So he's really familiar with it, familiar with its quirks. He's got a lot of like blood, sweat, and tears, probably literally, in that machine. So when we told him that we're going back there on Monday, he was like, I'm coming, I want to see what's going on. I just want to get my eyes on it. And it's actually really good that he did, because he looked over everything and then like immediately he was like, why is that bypass open? It was actually the air side of things, so not the refrigeration side where we were really focusing on, but one of the big air pipes. He's like, why is that open? That should be closed. And Trevor and I were like, duh. We're just like bypassing all, like nothing's happening. Obviously, all of the changes that we're making, nothing's happening because it's bypassing. Anyway, so we closed that big valve, the air valve. And then because we spent so much time there on Monday, we spent hours there just kind of watching things as we were making adjustments, watching things happen. So with what my dad did on Monday there, we didn't actually need to replace the extension valve, which is excellent because that's just a massive job. You got to pull out all the refrigerant. Anyway, we didn't have to do that at all, so he saved us a bunch of work. And again, like it was really good for him to be there. He's so familiar with this machine and its quirks. So it was good for him to see it and catch that. But also a bit of an eye-opener for Trevor and I, that we need to be more familiar with this machine's quirks. Like, this machine should have been replaced years ago, and we're still pushing to have it replaced, because at the end of the day, they're spending so much extra money on us trying to limp the thing along. We're doing all this extra stuff that really isn't necessary if the machine worked in the way that it was supposed to. Anyway, as long as it's in service, we need to know how to deal with it properly, so. I think our most interesting job this week was this chiller for an ice plunge, like a cold therapy type tub. They're all the rage right now. It's very trendy. Well, maybe not so much in winter time, but back in the summertime, there was this whole thing on Instagram about cold therapy, and you can buy this like portable tub thing that like sits on your deck. Anyway, this guy has taken it to the next level. It's him and his wife, actually. They've got one of those like portable ones in their back. They're like, oh yeah, we are done with that thing. So now they've actually got a chiller. And this thing, actually the chiller is a heat pump, which was very interesting to me. It's got this little reversing valve in it. Anyway, so the idea is for this chiller to chill the water in their plunge tub to down to like 37 degrees Fahrenheit, which is way too cold for my liking. That is way too close to zero for me. But anyway, so they bought this little chiller machine from China. They said it was very cheap. They got a pretty good deal on this thing. Cheap enough that they were actually considering like importing them and then selling them, because you can sell them for a lot more than you can buy them for. But anyway, so he's like, this thing has never worked. I've had it since October. This thing has never cooled. Can you come and take a look at it? So Trevor's pretty straight up with him on the phone. He's like, I've never worked on one of those before, but willing to come and take a look at it, see what we can see. So we take a look at it, and it's got 900 grams of 410A in it, according to the nameplate. So we like throw our gauges on. We're like, something's weird about this. So Trevor's sitting there thinking a little bit, and he's like, we can't really import units with refrigerant in it. Like, the Canada Customs won't accept it. And it's tricky sometimes because we'll quote somebody a job like a rooftop unit or like any other kind of unit. And then sometimes they'll come back to us and be like, I can get it so much cheaper from the States, and I can just like bring it over the border. I'll just ship it up to Canada and I'll save a bunch of money. And what they don't realize is that those units ship without refrigerant. So they can't cross the border with refrigerant in them. So you pay way less money for the unit, but then you still have to put that money back into it as refrigerant, if that makes sense. So Trevor's like, you can't import a unit with refrigerant in it. He's like, what are the chances they've got nitrogen in here, like just to hold the charge? So we check it out, and sure enough, it was nitrogen in there. There was no refrigerant. So we pulled all the nitrogen out, we vacuumed her down, charged her up with the proper 410A refrigerant. And wouldn't you know, the thing fired up right away. And so we're watching this little controller. It's sitting at 44 degrees, which in my opinion is also way too cold to be plunging your little body into. But anyway, it went down from 44 degrees down to 42. And he's like, amazing. He's like, that's more than it's ever worked. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We also replaced a fan relay, a condenser fan relay on a rooftop unit. We found this relay actually faulty, intermittently faulty, a few weeks ago when we replaced the condenser fan motor. Unfortunately, it took this long to get this little relay. It's like this little cube. Somebody called it an ice cube the other day. We just went onto the roof, replaced the relay. Pretty simple. The old one, Trevor actually took apart to see if we could see any like visual evidence of anything there. And it's interesting because on this rooftop unit, there's 2 condenser fans in it, and it's got a relay for both of them. And the one on the right-hand side is the one that we replaced back a couple weeks ago. And on the right hand side of the relay is where the contacts are actually burnt. They're not burnt, but they're like really pitted, and there's evidence of burnt on the cover of the relay. So it's, I don't know, kind of cool to kind of see the line of fault, if you will. So here there's like, it's very pitted on the inside. It's really hard to see on a video, but it definitely burnt. There you go. Oh.
I'm gonna go with right motor.
Yeah, the right hand side motor.
Way more pitting, especially like look at the contact there, and then look at the contact there.
Oh yeah.
Contact there, contact there.
Interesting. Yeah. It makes sense then, because that was the right hand side. And then also the fan that we changed was this guy, and that guy was fine. Do you guys remember that really, really beautiful Pilates studio we were in a few weeks ago? This place is so beautiful. Oh my goodness, I would love to do Pilates here. Look at that light fixture. Amazing. But I get to go up here. We found a dead transformer in a water source heat pump unit in there. We went back there to replace the transformer on that water source heat pump unit. It's a small unit and it's like cinched right up against the ceiling space. So the ladder I had didn't work. We had to get a new ladder, a taller ladder. This ladder is too short for me to do this job. I cannot reach the transformer, which is like right in the corner of this unit. Okay, now we're talking. Anyway, so we replaced the transformer. How's everything? Stick this baby up. Power. There we go. It was pretty tricky just because of where this unit is located as well. Like, I had to go up there and I had water lines on this shoulder like pressing me in, and I had a duct on this shoulder pressing me in. I was just like sandwiched between these two things trying to do my job like a little Tyrannosaurus Rex, like ridiculous. But anyway, I got her done. Why do these pipes have to be right here? For goodness sake. So replace the transformer, and wouldn't you know, the new one blew immediately. Let the smoke out. So we investigated a little bit further, and Trev actually found that the thermostat cable has been compromised at some point. And we're just assuming that during construction, when they were making that beautiful space, somebody maybe inadvertently put a screw or hammered a nail through the thermostat cable. Because what's happening right now is the thermostat has got, how many wires in it? 5, 6? Anyway, they're all sending a signal to the control board at the same time. It's just like overloading. Instead of like, hey, let's cool now. hey, let's heat now. It's like, let's do everything all at once. Brah! And so, because there was no fuse in the transformer's like, whoa, you're way overloading me here. And it died immediately. All right, so here's our old transformer. Here's our new transformer that has just died as well. That was a waste of time. Sort of. We have to go back there. We're planning to go there on Monday, early, before they have their classes. And we're going to replace the transformer again. But before we do that, we're going to replace the thermostat cable. And it looks like a fairly straight shot from the unit to the thermostat. So we're going to have to probably run a new control cable from this unit over to that area somewhere. The thermostat's over there, behind that wall. We don't have to go through any walls or anything, luckily. But yeah. And then the next time we put another transformer in there, we're gonna add a fuse in between it. So if for whatever reason there is a different problem, it's not gonna blow the transformer again, it'll just blow a fuse, which is a lot easier and cheaper to replace.
But I don't want a big one.
I just want a little one
Small one with a fuse.
With a fuse.
So yeah. In fact, grab a second one, Jess.
It's a more
Just take
positive connection than nothing to do with the fucking spraying and all that kind of stuff.
For today's job, we looked at 2 air dryers at a water treatment plant, I guess. And so what we were doing there, they've moved all of their equipment from one location in one part of the city to this other new location. I guess they're setting up there now, or I don't really know. But basically they wanted us to just check out these 2 air dryers to see if there's anything going on with them, just make sure that they're good to go, and then to get them going, to make them start. And luckily, there's nothing really to report on those 2 units except a faulty sensor. The controller is telling us it was over 100 degrees in that air dryer, and it was definitely not. So we just have to replace a sensor on that, and she's good to go.
Yeah, we need a new sensor for sure.
But there's so much going on in that works yard, like so much. There's like 7 or 8 different welders doing things. There's people cutting things. There's a couple of cranes on site. There's also a crane that had like a man lift. It looked like an elevator basically. And he was just dropping people into this hole. Would come out empty. Next guy would get in. He would drop it. Come out empty. Next guy, like, where are they going? For some reason, my hard head was just killing me today. The second I put it on my head, it was like an instant headache everywhere. Like, I had this headache down here. It was so strange. Anyway, the moment I took it off as well, it was okay.
Yeah, so we can't do any air right now.
And I'm like, I have to wear this stupid thing. And this is not my hard hat. You guys, I've got this blue hard hat. This one feels a lot better because the blue one like covers my eyes like this, and I feel like that's when I get a headache, when I see something here. That's very strange to say, but sometimes when I wear certain hats, like baseball caps and stuff, if it's too low, it gives me a headache. Anyway, I should go back to this white hat because No, I remember why. This white head is actually broken. The inside is busted, which is why I got those other blue ones. I just don't know why it hurts my head so much. Anyway, I could keep complaining. I spent a little bit of time re-insulating the TXV bulb on a walk-in freezer. It was just like the whole section of insulation was just missing for some reason. And so the guy was saying it keeps freezing up and stuff, and it was like freaking him out a little bit. But also those bulbs need to be insulated because they basically tell the expansion valve what to do. And so if it's getting coldness from its environment, then it's going to tell the TXV to do something it shouldn't be doing. So I just spent some time and I insulated it. Unfortunately, I didn't have my my new Calgon Perma wrap. It's like insulated wrap. It's like a foam insulation with stickiness on the one side. So you just kind of like wrap it around and it works really nicely. But didn't have any because I had used it on a different job and I haven't replenished it yet, which sucks. So I just took some Armaflex, which is like a pipe installation. And I cut it down the side to like open it up. And I just used 2 of those like sort of clammed onto each other and then taped that up. And it's a pretty good job, but kind of wish I had that perma wrap tape. I did spend some time in the office this week because, well, today is the 15th and all of my bills need to be paid by today. Specifically, some government remittance payments. They're on you. Like if you're 1 day late for that payment on the 15th, they will penalize you. So I always make sure that my government payment thing has always gone through on the 14th, and then all of my other payments get done at the same time. So Friday is the 15th of the month, so I am just paying all of the bills. I gotta do some government remittances and stuff like that. So just doing that right now. Got my little stamp and my little friend. Look at how cute. And the week ended in the most perfect way possible. We ended off with a supplier holiday lunch. It was like a customer appreciation type thing.
Good, yourself? Good. I enjoyed it.
At our favorite supplier just locally here. And they're just such a great group of guys. They've got a girl working there too, Roxana. She is Polish and she made all of these beautiful Polish sausages and pierogies for today's lunch.
Polish ketchup. I'm excited to try this.
Skateboard. Small bottle. Probably it's not a.
I'm just grabbing a part.
It's not a company.
I love her. She's one of my favorite parts about going to that location is just because she's there. But also because those guys are so much fun and they just really feel like friends and family there, which is an awesome feeling. All right, guys, that's all I have for you this week. Oh, I got a hat today. Gotta mention Jobber at least once in my vlog, right? Got this wicked hat. Thank you, Jobber. And thank you for joining me on this episode of the HVAC Diaries HVAC vlog. So, have a great weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye! Okay, let's go. Once this lady has walked past me. Look right at me. Cool, cool, cool. Favorite supplier. Here, our local refrigeration. No. We were,